Hi guys, this is BreAKer back. Alright, this is BreAKer, and I am back with the first phase of my daily. That would be just taking a replay from the front page of Cast It, and essentially, giving it a cast. Part of catering to the community, if you will. And right now, we have, I want to say, a rather sizable TVT. But of course, who would I be to continue casting this without a formal introduction to both players? In the upper left-hand corner, spawning as our blue Terran, I give you all SchiSM. Yes. And in the lower right-hand corner, his red Terran opponent, oGL Falcon. Now, I'm not entirely sure what oGL stands for. I never actually tried Googling it. I don't know anything else about it in between. But continuing on with this replay, it looks like both players are going to just go with standard openers. Talking about this map for just a little bit, of course, there are the rocks here that you can take down, and it will form a full barricade here, so there's no way that any units can get in without first destroying the rock wall that gets created here. The natural is actually rather exposed, wide open. This could be dangerous for matchups outside of, say, your ordinary mirror matchups. Or even in the context of TVT, it can be dangerous with Hellion run-bys, or anything else that moves quickly. Anything that moves quickly at all, even medevacs. I know that may sound a little silly to apply, but once you think about it, you've got Marines defending down here, then you have SchiSM coming, or excuse me, not SchiSM, but rather Falcon coming up from behind with, say, a timing attack here where medevacs is supposed to meet with the reinforcements up here at the same time, and then the ignite afterburners go up here, and you see all of a sudden that, in reality, SchiSM is forced to pull his SCVs off the line to get them to a safe location, and that's just one way that medevacs can work against you in this context. Just a thought. In other news today, I thought I'd go ahead and fill you in on my ESL contacts. They thought it would be more than acceptable to give me permissions to cast the World Cyber Games in English. They are, of course, they take place in Kunshan, Jiangsu province in China. It's actually quite close to Shanghai, but not quite within the city itself, is my understanding. Now, we do actually have the SCV of SchiSM getting to this ramp and finding out there's a Reaper in production, rather standard. WCG, there's nothing. I want to say they're kind of downsizing in comparison to previous installations of the WCG before now, but nobody's perfect. Everybody's got to kind of make budget cuts here and there. When StarCraft 2 was first launched, it was a beautiful and bustling game, and it still is. Like, the numbers with the most recent MLG Dallas with Heart of the Swarm in it were actually quite satisfactory, and I dare say a large part of that is thanks to Heart of the Swarm. Here we go, the Reaper kind of moving out there, and I think, yes, combat drugs are kicking in on it right now. Behind this, we do see that the natural is being started up for essentially Falcon. His is going to be finished first. I want to say, yeah, I mean, with the amount of time it would take to turn this into an orbital command and then float it down to the natural location, it would definitely favor our red Terran, this race to economy. SchiSM goes ahead and throws away an SCV at that natural, making sure, of course, that it's going down. Nothing too terribly absurd is happening at the same time. Factory, however, going down in the main, not scouted by SchiSM. And of course, his own factory, I believe, is, yeah, it's been finished for a while now. In fact, he's already cranking out Widow Mines. If we're gonna look at the game of SCVs, the game of workers right now, we actually see that both players are almost identically even in terms of income. It's just gonna depend on, the rock, paper, scissors element of a mirror matchup, if you will, to see where this game is going to go from here on out. SchiSM is, of course, taking a slightly more defensive opening. I say slightly because he has a Widow Mine out already before taking his Expo. Could cost him just a little bit. Bunker, I feel, is more than adequate for this stage of the game. But if someone decides to just do a straight-up Blue Flame Hellion rush in any matchup, the consequences can be quite dire. And in that essence, I feel that Falcon, not Falcon, but rather SchiSM was more than prepared to defend against something like that. Hellbat drops are also extremely powerful. I was casting the World Championship Series earlier today. We're talking just like in Chinese, and the Finnish pro player Nama says, I really hope they remove this player, or I really hope they remove this unit from the game. The funny thing about this is, for those of you who are uninitiated and unfamiliar with Nama, is he also said that, you know, he also plays Terran. You know, maybe when you got it, you got it. When you don't, you don't. But of course, the biggest problem with that is he's also Terran, and he believes that Hellbat should be removed. But ooh, this could be bad. Never mind. So we have a Hellbat, or excuse me, not a Hellbat drop, but rather a Hellion drop. Not even a Hellion drop, but a Medevac drop. Jeez, how can I confuse a Hellbat with a Medevac? And it's getting ready to go into the main of Falcon. I think some decent economic damage could be incurred here if, you know, if we see that Falcon is not entirely careful with where this goes. Alright, so here we go. SchiSM, you know, he's already doing a lot of damage here with this medevac drop, really. 7 workers killed already. And he's aiming at some supply depots. He's gonna try and target down that orbital command, but it was kind of a waste of time, so he's just like, okay, better pick up and get out of here before too many Marines come here. Sweet irony of that is, he has more Marines than his opponent does. If he had simply done a non-stop medevac drop into the main, I think, you know, he could have actually taken this game and won it straight out from the beginning. I did no preview or review of this replay before I actually started casting it. I'm not trying to sound cynical or pessimistic when I do cast this, but it's just something interesting to point out. So I really feel that SchiSM, you know, with that kind of economic damage dealt, come on, 7 SCVs, think about it for a minute. Let's get a look-see here. If we see the income difference right now, we actually see that, oh, hold on. Yeah. There's a 5 SCV difference. You know, I mean, what we could have seen SchiSM do with this is perhaps just throw down a scan and see if any reinforcements were in fact going to come at him in the main. Looks like they weren't. Oh, and this is actually pretty severe. It looks like that. Oh, wow, that command center was in fact delayed. Oh, but this medevac is not getting out of there alive. Yeah, so that's actually an unhealthy throwaway by SchiSM. Really, I mean, I think he could have done a little bit more damage if he had simply just tried to pull the medevac away and let the Marines that were on the ground do their damage. And with this being said, I feel that Falcon is more than aptly prepared for the attack that's about, or excuse me, Falcon? No, not Falcon. With that being said, SchiSM is more than aptly prepared to get some harass going on the third base for Falcon. Sorry, it gets pretty confusing. Telling players apart in mirror matches. Can you believe it? How did I make it to Diamond League, guys? What is wrong with me? I kind of like this supply depot SimCity, if you will, in the main of SchiSM right now. It actually looks kind of pretty. Yeah. Just making sure I didn't miss anything that was action-packed that might be going down. But this is the choice third of SchiSM. Gets started before that of Falcons. So, I mean, every little bit of harass, every little bit of prevention can make the difference between a victory and a defeat, essentially speaking. Here is no exception either. We actually see SchiSM, you know, he's ahead by how much now? He does have the superior tank count, but I mean, it could... It's all going to come down to basically, you know, tank blasts, positioning, everything of that nature, and Falcon's actually... Ooh, he's kind of throwing away this medevac drop, sort of. Marines were ready to intercept that. Marines stimming up here. Oh my god! And half of them get dropped into the main, it looks like. Just half of them. So this is going to force another stim out of SchiSM. We actually see... I don't know. There's no medevacs in the mix, but there's about to be. There we go. But these two medevacs, you know, they have the daunting task of trying to heal all 20-something of those Marines. Yeah, and here is the most pesky part about the situation that we... Oh my god. The most pesky part of the situation that we see from Falcon. He's kind of just forced into landing there at the last minute. I wonder though, could that command center actually go in just a little bit closer than it actually is right now? I don't know. I kind of wanted to double check that. It kind of looks a little far back in my opinion, but Alright, well it looks like we got both players kind of macroing up again. Yes, that is precisely what they're trying to do. And right now, is there anything worthy of highlighting? We have +2, +2. +2 attacks about to finish up for SchiSM, and +2 armor just getting started for him. We do also have him moving out at the same time. That's a huge huddle of Marines. And since, you know, I'm just going to take this last little bit of time to basically review what's going on and making sure you guys are in the know about StarCraft 2 in China and Taiwan. Asia StarCraft League every Tuesday and Thursday morning in Central American time. Excuse me, not Central American time, but Central Standard Time, USA, 7 o'clock. NSL, not confirmed date yet, but the WCG I will have soon enough. Here we go, huge engagement! It looks like slowly but surely we actually have Falcon kind of prevailing over that. That one tank caught out in the open, and these tanks, actually, their siege position is actually rather terrible at the moment. But we also have SchiSM basically free to do an attack here. That looks like an offensive scan from Falcon. He just wants to make sure that all of his guys in here are going to be safe. And it looks like we actually have Falcon not ready to siege up here. This is looking like a bad engagement from Falcon. If we get to see some Marine drops on top of these tanks, that would be absolutely devastating. And there's a good deal of Marines over here, but it looks like they're actually going to try and stem an A move in. We need to see Falcon wake up to what is just over there. He needs to... No, you don't need to stem an A move in. You need to pick some up and drop them on those tanks. Do it, bro. Do it. You've got the opportunity, and there it is. Unsieged tanks caught out in the open. That's 4 of them. We won't see SchiSM getting back. And right now, I want to point out for just a moment that we actually see Falcon in a terrible position right now. 1 tank to how many now? And he's being contained. Like, the supply difference right now is absolutely, completely, and totally out of his favor. He is resieging over here. Excellent choice. I wonder if just about every corner of these maps that are created and thrown into the pool are designed for this. But here we go. Siege up over here. Not quite working in favor of SchiSM. Excuse me, not quite working in favor of Falcon. He's losing Marines bit by bit, piece by piece, but, you know, Marauders, they are armored units, and it looks like we're going to see something kind of survive here, and the Marines are actually not targeting down the orbital command. We actually have to see Falcon be extremely meticulous and careful. We see that behind this, SchiSM is also going for a 4th base. Do we have a 4th command center in construction for Falcon? I believe not, but holy hell. I think he may be able to save this one Vespene Geyser if he's lucky. He's got more than enough Marines to do it, but no, he hasn't saved the Vespene, the refinery there. And right now we actually see a huge supply difference somewhere in the upward of the 70s. Beautiful drop here by Falcon to defend, and it looks like he does take down both of the tanks, and with that we will see him hold this position just a little bit longer. Orbital command will not fall, but it might end up burning. No. 565 HP. Good to go. Alright, so here we go. SchiSM, you know, let's check out the income difference right now. I want to say, like, this is quintessentially, you know, it looks to be one of the final pushes from Falcon. Excuse me, from SchiSM. It's the left-right mind screw that I'm going through right now. As you can see, Falcon is on the right side of the map, and we actually have his name on the left side of the screen here. Not working in my favor at all. But we do have a medevac drop that's going out as well, so perhaps, just perhaps, we'll see Falcon in a position to turn this game around if he just gets all of his positioning correctly. We've already seen that SchiSM doesn't have the best tank positioning sometimes. And this of all things, oh no, never mind. I was going to say that perhaps, just perhaps, that Widowmine could have saved his day, but nah, the 4th Command Center also gets targeted down. And these supply depots, my god, look at the damage being done on Falcon right now. Where on earth is that medevac drop that we saw earlier? Is it coming back to save? I don't know what the hell is going to happen here. But just look at the huge supply difference right now. The natural is falling. Oh my god. I just don't know what to say here. There's a drop going into the main as well. If we see Falcon turn this around, it's going to be nothing less than an absolute miracle. Medevac drop is taken down over here, dealt with thoroughly. And here we go. Falcon, I just... Is he ready to gear up and move out? He's only got 59 army supply with 113 of his opponent. All of it's in the medevacs. And look at the infrastructure that we have here, just the production that we can see. So much of it is going to go to essentially minerals, but I've seen players... Well, I guess this could save Falcon's income just a little bit more. I mean, there's like 8 mineral patches here, still kind of full. But he's actually going for the 3rd here. Okay, so that could also help him. And he's kind of going on the offensive with his positioning and his tanks. That's a lot of Marines too, by the way. Yeah, this 3rd is relatively exposed. I want to say that if we see Falcon not careful in the near future, he could end up losing it completely. Tank positioning is beautiful. At least, well, for Falcon it is. He's actually ready to catch any Marines that are trying to advance on his tanks. And I just want to say that these Marines here are kind of in a tough spot. I just don't know what to say here. Supply difference now 100 to 174. The only thing I think that can save Falcon right now would be an extraordinarily terrible engagement from SchiSM. But right now, I'd say even SchiSM, what SchiSM could do is actually basically drop all of his tanks on top of these tanks. And, well, no, not quite, not quite. There's too many Marines here. There we go. Scans going down left and right. Just trying to check each other out. I'm not entirely sure. Just, you know, what can Falcon do to come back in this? There's drops, but I don't see any around right now. There was a medevac drop earlier that he had attempted, and it ended up basically not succeeding. Motion sensor tower taken down, so now we actually have Falcon blind on the radar, at the very least. Looks like this 3rd is going to move back into the naturals area. I kind of like this move. It seems alright, but the biggest problem that we see right now is the gas income, how to get that back up. We have to see the double refinery go down somewhere. We actually have both of the refineries here taken down from earlier. I don't know how we're going to see Falcon come back from this. It's a curious thing. He's maxed out at 150 supply, and right now his income, it's kind of in shambles. Just look at that. He's got half of that of SchiSM right now. I don't know what he's doing still in this game. You know, I don't want to bash him by any means. I don't mean to attack him personally or as a player, but right now it's just a position that we see him in. A lot of idle SCV is going to work now. We're going to have to see some gas being taken. I just don't think he quite realizes that yet. We've only got 4 that are harvesting gas altogether, and it's actually distance mining. SchiSM just kind of balled up here. Like, his positioning of these tanks is actually rather, I want to say, exposed, to say the very least. And we have scans going down for, you know, both sides. But here we go. I guess we have SchiSM kind of packing up and going home for the time being, repositioning all of his tanks. And this is actually not... Oh my god. Oh, wait. Hold on just a minute. These tanks are kind of exposed. No. This medevac is just trying to get some vision on what's happening here. And now we actually have SchiSM sending out a medevac, but to where? I wonder. This would be a more than acceptable location, I feel. It's rather exposed. But I think also dropping some Marines on top of these tanks would be, you know, multitudes of favorable for him. Just more than one way fun. if that makes sense. Okay, and it looks like another missile turret's gonna fall for SchiSM over here. Actually, for Falcon. You know, both players just trying to play us out meticulously careful. I don't know how else to say it, but oh my god, here we go. The Shining White Knights inside the red medevacs are gonna go out and try and make something happen. But unfortunately, we have a planetary fortress here. I mean, it doesn't matter how many Marines you got going up against, you know, trying to go in for some harass, but obviously, planetary fortresses. Well, I think with the present positioning that we see from these Marines, they're going to be able to delay quite a bit of mining time. But again, planetary fortresses, you never want to send them head-on versus what we have here. And ooh, the horse they rode in on was about to get shot down. Look at all these missile turrets right here. Yeah. Not favorable at all. But oh my god, Falcon. Just like the resources lost is just absolutely climbing for him. If we check that out, it's just not pretty at all. Alright, here we go, huge engagement. This is actually not too good for SchiSM. I mean, the only thing that's really, like, both players at 3-3 upgrades, you know. But wow, holy hell, this looks like this is just kind of the opportunity that we needed from, holy hell, 33 Marines in production at a time from SchiSM. How much of that is actually out on the map right now? We actually have to subtract 11, so that's kind of a good engagement for him, but he's at the same time throwing away all of these Marines, going into the choke at his opponent's main. And now we have Falcon essentially pushing back. That was a huge key engagement that he had just won. I couldn't see that happening. And like, you know, I don't know how else to say it, but Falcon was actually lower in upgrades than SchiSM was for a good deal of the game. Command Center also going down here, it looks like, for some kind of an expo. It just doesn't quite work out. And now we have Falcon actually looking like he's in a good position. He's going to try and take down this expo. If he can just siege up his tanks, that would be great. Yeah, especially on... Oh my god, he needs that zone like a watchtower, really. There we go. Too many Marines, not enough tanks. In fact, the tanks are all in back. Oh my god, wait a minute. SchiSM actually has the incorrect unit composition. If you look and see how many Marines he's able to crank out, these Marines are essentially, ironically, tanking for these tanks. And if we check the tank count right now, SchiSM is actually only at 4 tanks as opposed to his opponent's 8 tanks. And if we check the income as well, Falcon actually has lower gas income. It's just that he's got almost no gas income. It's just that he's managed to, I don't know, keep holding on in this game. You can take an expo right here. He's not quite awake to that, not quite akin to that. He needs to be if he wants to really win this game. And the positioning is what's all going to matter here, guys. All the Marines easily got to 3-3 for both sides, but I mean, the tanks are almost now non-existent. The upgrades for them, 2 armor, 3 attack for SchiSM. And really, realistically, the one thing that matters the most for him is his tank count. He's got almost none, and it looks like we're actually going to have most of the Marines just powering through these Marines, sort of. But this could be an engagement that ends up costing Falcon a little bit more than what he's actually got. He also needs to realize that he's got, you know, he's got 2 bases he could be mining from. Instead, he's only taking 1 base income. Like, look at this, guys, honestly. These are mistakes that we see SchiSM making at the level of play he's at right now. But, honestly, look at this, all this infrastructure. And so little tanks being actually produced. I wish I could see their hotkeys right now, I really do. But, here we go. It looks like we actually have, you know, Falcon opting to kill the, looks like the 12 o'clock-ish position base of SchiSM. And I think he'll be able to get that relatively uncontested. A bunch of Marines coming down here. Actually, a couple of Marines, just one. Coming down here, and that's it. And it looks like we actually have Falcon making a mistake here. He doesn't want to put that down there. The medevac drop kind of caught onto that, but Oh my god, and here of all places, it looks like he could actually be losing a base. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of workers killed already. Just look at this, look at this. 48 over the course of the entire game. We have a bunch of Marines stimming up here to deal with these Marines. And I think, yeah, we just saw that Planetary Fortress get shut down. Or not Planetary, but rather Orbital Command. All these SCVs, I think, got pulled. And perhaps put back over here. I'm thinking that was more than an acceptable move. And SchiSM actually trying to directly roll on in here. This Planetary Fortress will be done here in a matter of seconds. That means the income will kind of be secured. Speaking of, we actually kind of have Falcon in a sort of winning position, and this is just so cutthroat, guys. This is so dog-eat-dog. It's like, holy hell. Look at the amount of gas we see SchiSM floating right now. What is he doing with all that? 9,000 gas almost. He needs to get more tanks, and there we go. Like, this is it. This is looking like a penultimate engagement or something of that nature. Like, he's just not going to go on for that much longer. We have basically the same 8 tanks that we've had from earlier. Like, the gas income for Falcon is almost completely undone. Almost completely unheard of. He still has no gas income, even though he's on, like, how many bases now? There it is, the GG from SchiSM. I just, whoa. This is, I think, what you come down to the realization of it. Yes, this was essentially his last mining base, but he could have lifted up this orbital command and moved it over here. And I'm thinking it would have been worth his time to possibly transition into something else, maybe battle cruisers. But also, very important, was how many of his workers were here. Wow, my God, 67 workers. This was an amazing comeback. I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna title this "Amazing Comeback" after I get done uploading it to YouTube. So I think you guys, I hope you guys enjoy what I've done for you today. And I'm going to try and continue with phase 2 of my daily, which is taking a replay from the front page of drop.sc. This has been BreAKer. I'll see you guys in just a moment.